Michele. Take it away, sisters.
Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for Sisters of Leisure. My name is Tracey. I am one half of Sisters of Leisure, where we are living every day and seeking and understanding real events. Hold on.
Okay.
And I just like to add, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I hope you all enjoy your week and enjoy your family. And please keep the drama at the door.
Oh, geez. And I am Michele, the little sister. And you know what? I am super excited because we have a guest. We're gonna keep it home. We keeping it indoors today. We keeping it in home today. So we have our beautiful Sharinda Mcknight. She is a real estate agent in Northwest Georgia. She is a dear friend of mine. She is a serial entrepreneur, a makeup artist, real estate agent, insurance agent. She does it all, taxes. So Sharinda, thank you for coming on Sisters of Leisure. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank y'all for having me. How are y'all?
Doing good. It's such a blessing to have you here, Sharinda, because as a real estate agent, you had this class and it was so informative. And so, it's just, let's spread it out. Let's spread it out to to more people. So Sharinda, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into real estate.
Well, I'm a native of Rome, and so naturally you want to see your area do well. And so just, growing up and being here and being around family and friends and just kind of developing into my adulthood, so to speak, just learning different things. Over time I just wanted to do something different outside of the 50-11 things I do. I'm very passionate about working with people, so I love to see people do well. I love to see people grow. It's all about positivity, positive energy. I'm one of those people that I like I said before, I have a several tattoos, but my Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue. And so that was something that was instilled in me as a child. My mom used to say, you're gonna have what you say. So, you gotta be mindful of how you speak and what you speak over yourself. So, when this opportunity presented itself, my oldest sister, who I'm the baby of four with my mom. And so my oldest sister, who's in Atlanta, is a loan originator and has owned her own company for years. And she too is a real estate agent and an investor. She kind of encouraged me. And then my sister that's here is an investor and an entrepreneur as well. And she was like, why not? Let's do it. And so, I get excited about seeing people find their why, find their thing. And so when the opportunity presented itself, I was kind of like, I'm looking at stuff. I'm talking to who is now my lead, Sherelle Smith with Northwest Georgia Realty.co. And I was like, I'm kind of, I'm just thinking about it. I don't know. And so everything just lined up. A class became available here in Rome through Barney Fletcher. And it just kind of went from there. And I was like, okay, I'm really, really excited. It's happening. And it just, kind of developed from there. And then in September, I was licensed and we're just getting started. So I'm super excited.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So give us the roadmap to how you even get started in purchasing a home. What do people need to look for?
Well, one of the things I really encourage people to do, first of all, we are living in a different climate right now. We've had COVID come and COVID go, hopefully. And, everybody's been affected, whether it's employment or losing someone or just adjustments or being able to upgrade to that job or position or something that you never thought would be an opportunity for you. So for me, my thought is with people, hey, let's see where you are right now, because we're going to be paying extremely high rent to someone, or something or some company. So the biggest thing is I tell people kind of look at your budget. Okay, what is it that you want? What is your why? Where are you wanting to start? And that gives you an idea. And then the first thing is getting that pre-approval. So in order to get that pre-approval, you've got to have your credit lined up. You've got to have your resources lined up. You've got to have monies for down payment or know what resources are out there. So to me, the biggest thing is start somewhere. So if you are interested in purchasing a home and you don't know where to start, connect with a realtor and a realtor that can link you to a lender or a loan originating officer that can actually start that process. Because I tell people the biggest thing is look at your credit. It may not be as bad as you think. You may have more resources than you think, but you don't know if you don't take the time out to say, hey, look at it. Because I would rather someone tell me, hey, in about 6 months, you'll be ready, or in about 3 months, you'll be ready, versus I want to, I want to, but I don't know, and you'll just still be in that same space. So I tell people, get started, link with somebody, get with a realtor that can refer you to somebody who's going to dig, who's going to educate you on it. Go to home buyer seminars like ours or anyone's in the community. That way you can get those little nuggets and just start the process.
Yeah.
You know what? I think for me, the scariest part is the budget. To
Yes.
really focus and look at what you're spending your money on,
But see, you know what? I get that. But I have to say this, from I feel like it's been a lot of gatekeeping when it comes to, that's Tracey's word, gatekeeping when it comes to finance. We kind of like living financially by happenstance. I know I am. I'm living by, cause and effect, ups, downs, ins, outs. I mean, for real, I'm just being real transparent here. And it's just like, thinking of something of that magnitude and knowing that I am not fully educated, it turns me pulls me back a little bit.
Right, right. And it definitely can. It definitely can. And so, that's why I think a lot of times, I literally say this, we put a lot of effort into having home buyer seminars because we want you to come. A lot of people are just afraid to get their foot through the door, and so one of the things I try to, tell people, even with selling insurance, I'm very passionate about it because being from this community and seeing how things have changed. I'm a mom of two. I have a 21 and a 16-year-old, and I'm constantly worried about their whereabouts, their safety, things of that nature. And so to me, I think about what am I spending my money on, or the things that I am wasteful. And I'll give you an example. We always joke about, because I'm near Walmart, we always joke about Walmart being, we say, oh, you going to Walmart? That's a trick of the enemy, girl. You're going to go in saying you're going to spend 20, you're going to come out spending 50 and be like, what I buy? And you may have to go back again that week, right? So, you have to look at those things. And that's just an example because I'm somebody, they know me by name. I'm there at least 3 times a week. What am I getting? I don't know. It's unnecessary, but I really have had to like scale back and say, hey, okay, maybe I need to go on Sunday and stick to my budget of what I need to get. And then if you look at what you spend on a daily basis compared to what you're spending over the weekend, what the reason behind that spending is, that could have been $70 put in the bank. That $70 over a week's time, and you multiply that by 26 weeks, let's just say half the year, that's $umpteen that you can be saving. But we don't look at it like that. So if we sit down with just the most simplest knowledge of, hey, I eat out because I'm guilty, Starbucks, or I love Chick-fil-A, that chicken mini meal, that's my thing. That's like $9 every time, right? And if I'm just eating that one meal one time for 3 days, 3 days out the week for breakfast, that's $27. You add that $27 up over time, you're like, I could have saved that for this or that. So I do agree with you. Finances, doing a financial, just an overhaul of what you're spending or what you're doing, it is overwhelming. But I do feel like if we start with the most smallest thing, like, hey, where am I spending a lot of my money, or what could I do differently? That will make a huge difference in how you start viewing your finances altogether. And then just linking up with people that you know. Another thing too, Tracey, when you talk about gatekeeping, sometimes it is really hard for people to find someone that they can trust or feel comfortable saying, hey, listen, I make X amount of money every 2 weeks. And by the time I get paid, I'm already in the hole, and that's hard to just open up and admit that. But I do feel like when you start trying to reach out to people or ask someone so that they can connect you or provide you with that information, or if you're online, if you're looking on Google or whatever that case may be, or looking on your bank's website, you start there, you start to be a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more transparent so that you can actually get to what you need to get where you need to be.
It takes a lot of discipline.
Yes.
A
Mhm.
lot of discipline. So that means for me, I'm gonna be crying because I want it, but I know I don't need it. And
Right.
it just takes really a lot of sacrifice and discipline.
It
And
does.
that could be very difficult sometimes.
It's very
Yeah.
difficult. It's very difficult. I would tell people, even in that situation, in that space, because we're all like that. I know for the holidays, I probably overspend. My kids are like, I just want clothes, shoes, money. Okay. But I'd be like, oh, well, I can get this and I can get this. And next thing you know, you're over your budget, right? But I think for the most part is when you be realistic about your goals, and this is so crazy because I'm gonna tell you what I have right next to me. This is what I keep right here. You may not be able to see it. I'm not sure. It's kind of blurring it out, but it's like the keyword up top says manifest that, So for me, this is my why. This is what my goals, what I'm looking at, my floor designs. And again, you probably can't see it because my light's really big, but my floor designs, my paint color, honey, I got my paint color that I want. I have all the things that I am attempting to do, and that's my goal. This is the house I want. Again, you may not be able to see it, but that's just an idea because that's my goal, and I got to figure out how to get there one way or the other.
So
So
you got to start.
savings, cutting back, saying, hey, 2024 is coming. I may not be able to go on 5 trips. I may only go on 1. I'm hurt. I want things. But you figure it out. You start somewhere. And I think that's the key.
It is. It's important to be intentional in, in your finances and how to really get it. I understand. I just, like I said, it's just not having that full understanding issue. For me, it gets like, oh no, I don't understand. Watching my credit goes up and down. It's like a roller coaster ride every single solitary day. And so, just being more focused and more intentional. I'm going, I get it. I just
Absolutely. Absolutely. You do. You do. And think about it like this too. Like we know we got to pay rent, right? So we know we got to pay rent. We don't want to be late. We don't want to end up getting months behind and then have to go to court, right? So if you look at it from that perspective, it's the same thing about wanting that house. You know what that goal is, and you have to sacrifice to some extent. I think for us, it's up to us as to how much are we willing to sacrifice,
So, yeah. So real quick, Sherelle, as an agent, do you find that that most people don't know what they need or want when it comes to purchasing? They kind of like have like a overzealous thought process and what they really want.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I love when Atia in the home buyer seminar said, "Hey, look at what you want your house to be." And one of the ladies was like, "Oh yeah," and the one that read it out, said, "This is what I want. This is da 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 da." That lets me know that you're already or you have been thinking of that. But you do have individuals that say, "Hey, I want a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath on 2 acres of land in such and such location." Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You never want to bust someone's bubble. But what I tell people is we have to be realistic because this is the other thing that people don't realize. Just because you buy that house, I don't care if you bought it at 30, I don't care if you bought it at, 45, that may not be your forever home. You may live in that home 2 years and sell it. You may live in that home 10 years and sell it. It's totally up to you. So this is a starting place. And what we typically try to get people to understand, let's get that pre-approval first. Once we get that pre-approval, it's going to give us a range, right? And if we know what we're working with, then we can be more realistic to hone in on what it is that you want. If you're able to bill for that amount, hey, go for it. If you find your home and then you may have to make some changes, go for that too. Like I have a client right now who's looking at, in the 200 range, and they're like, well, I want this, I want that. I said, wait a minute. You have to be able to see the beauty in that place. Because just because we looking at it and somebody left some wallpaper behind and somebody left, a little black stove that don't match with the white refrigerator, that don't mean that this can't be what you want it to be. Because guess what? How much a can of paint costs? You could paint this. You could change this out. You could look for packages. And so what I try to do is even in meeting someone, and I'm fairly new to this, but still I'm like, hey, I want you to see past you start putting up barriers first. Let's look at where we are. Let's put something together based on what we can afford. And then when we start looking, once you get that pre-approval, let's see the beauty in it. And so I love being able to inspire somebody because sometimes we
Mhm.
get in a fog, we kind of get stuck on this one thing.
Yes.
Like that's just like saying, hey, I want $1 million home. I know I can't afford $1 million home. However, I'm realistic about what I can afford. And who's to say
Yeah.
that I can't make that little house look like $1 million home because it's going to be mine? So I do find that to be a challenge a lot of times. But once you sit down with somebody, kind of work through that stuck feeling of, but this is what I want, they tend to relax and do better. And then once they're in there and you go back and check on them, you like, oh my goodness, it's nice.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. So yes, you
Yeah.
find it a lot, but you kind of hold their hand and walk them through that.
I
Because
love that because people do get caught up on the granite countertops
Yes,
and the
yes, yes.
stainless steel. And, like you said, if your approval does not line up with that, but who's to say you can't do that in the next year or two?
Yes, yes,
yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So would you think that, some people say location, location, location. So would because I noticed you said that, people can count, the beauty of the home. Like, so you can appreciate the beauty, the structure, the bones, and all that kind of stuff of a
Right.
beautiful home. So would you suggest someone move out of a certain location or move to a certain location? Or, you know, is location very important? Is pricing very important? Is school district very important? What should people really kind of concentrate? Because, I see people that may buy a house and the appreciation is not as good because
Right.
of the location it's in.
Right, absolutely. So I think you have to look at several things. If you have small children and if the school district is important to you, definitely consider the school district first because you want to make sure that your kids are in a place that the educational needs are going to be met, that you feel comfortable and safe in that side of town or wherever that may be, works for you all. Especially if you got a job where you've been somewhere for years, you don't want your kids, way out in the county and you're way over here. You have to look at those things. So definitely consider the school district. Also consider the location because, for example, here in Rome, you may have the old East Rome area, the Twickenham area, places like that where the price for a fourth of an acre or half of an acre house is going to be X amount of dollars. Whereas if you're in the city, like, if you're in North Rome or in certain places, it may be a little cheaper. And we know that just from, the way, everything is right now, especially in our economy. But, I think you want to look at schools. You definitely want to look at what amount of monies that you have. For example, for some people, let's say you're approved for 200, 300,000, you may get more house in another county or out in the county, still in Rome, but you may get more house in a certain area than you would if you were coming towards the city. And I think with some individuals is what you have to look at is, okay, you can start in those areas, right? You can look at those things and consider those things, but at the same time, if it's something you really, really want, if this house speaks to you, if you see that once I'm in this house, these are the things I'm going to do. I love a creative mind. If you
Mm-hmm.
know that that works for you, go for it. It don't matter where it is because you're going to make it work for you. You're going to make it work for you and your family. So I think you have to look at all those things. But yes, location matters. Schools
Yeah.
matter. Some people want top ranked schools, schools of excellence. We know at Rome City, like East Central and places like that, those are schools of excellence. And so people look for those things. And so, but it could be that, hey, you purchase a home in that particular area based on the school system. But as your kids get older, I may want to move, I may want to downsize, or I may want to go out in the country where my neighbors, a mile away and not have to be bothered. So yes, you do want to consider all those things, but you also want to
Mm-hmm.
look at, hey, if this house is what I want, and if it speaks to me and it feels good to me and I love being in it, I'm going to go for it. And I'll give you an example of what I had. I was asked to show a house. I think it was Wednesday night or Thursday night at the last minute. I said, sure, I'll go. Hey, why not? Because I'm still getting that experience, but I love looking at houses. And I'll tell you why I love looking at houses. When we were younger, my grandfather, of course, had this house, and this is the house I live in. but you didn't see a lot of people like us that had much. You know what I'm saying? We kind of came
Mhm.
up in the country, and so it was like country living, but you were just thankful that you had your family. So I remember as a young child just growing up, when I would ride on the bus and go through neighborhoods like Saddle Mountain and Twickenham and see these houses, I would imagine myself in them. And then as we got older and I started to learn a little bit more about establishing myself as an adult and finding a home or an apartment and different things like that and looking, I would always find that excitement and that joy. And so being able to take this couple out that I never met, y'all, I couldn't get in the property, my stuff wouldn't work. Thank God we found one of the newer properties that was still open, and the construction manager let us in, but just letting them walk through it and letting them see it. And she was like, she's telling her husband, like, well, babe, I like this. I like these. Like, you know how men are. I don't know. I don't know. I said, listen. And they were like, when we came to Rome, we didn't see nothing. What y'all do? I said, oh, honey, downtown. I gave him the whole rundown. I was so excited when we walked out. That moment when we walked out, we stayed outside another 15 minutes. They talked to their agent and they put a contract on that property. And I was so ecstatic just to know, like, y'all are moving to Rome. I said, once y'all close, I'm gonna give y'all all the hookups to Rome, like
Yeah.
what's downtown, what we be doing. But it was just exciting to see someone see that that's their why, that's their space. They found their home. And this couple was probably, I don't know, under 30. They don't have no kids yet. And it was just really exciting and fulfilling to know that, hey, I was able to help somebody find out or find their space, their place where they want it to be for whatever extended period of time. So
Yeah.
really exciting. Really
Yeah.
exciting. Mm-hmm.
Love that. Now, do you work like with wholesalers or anything like that? Do real estate agents work with wholesalers?
We typically try not to work with wholesalers, but I know those individuals do exist. It depends on what side of the coin you're on, whether you're representing the buyer or whatnot. But typically, you want to make sure that whoever you are working with is as legitimate as possible. But you do have a lot of for sale by owners. You do have a lot of people. I had a lady Friday. I drove to the property, called her. She's like, I said, is there any particular reason why you're not working with the agent? She said, I'm going to be honest. I need the most money I can get back. I said, I totally understand. So, but we try to make sure that we're working with other agents for sale by owners, investors also. I mean, you work with a variety of individuals. You do. You do.
Okay. Because I was about to say, what's a wholesaler? I didn't even know what that was.
A wholesaler is typically someone who it's kind of hard to explain, is illegal, but it's legal in a sense. So for example, if someone says,
Oh,
hey, hey, Michelle, I see that you have a house and you're trying to get rid of it. And you may say, hey, you know what? All I want is $30,000. The house may be worth $100,000. If you sign a contract with that person and they get that property sold, you legally have to pay them, even though the way they went about it may not be 100% legit, if that makes sense. So that's kind of how that works. But typically anyone in the state of Georgia that usually nationally, but in the state of Georgia, if you represent someone as far as buying or selling a property and you receive a compensation for it, you need to be licensed as a real estate agent.
okay.
So,
So, so Sherelle, a little bit, a little twist on the conversation. So,
okay.
out of, we grew up watching shows, Cosby Show, Three's Company,
Yes.
the Brady Bunch, any house that you have seen on television. Tell us what house that you would love to sell.
Oh my goodness. A house that I would love to sell.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna go old school. I'm going back to Tyler Perry's first movie, remember?
Okay, yeah.
Yes, the house that he shot so many times. I just envision myself walking in that house with crisp, clean white walls. Everything is very modern, very chic. I'm gonna escort you in. I'm gonna stroke you. I'm gonna let you see every aspect of it. I'm gonna tell you every detail. I want to see the lights. I want you to see the backyard when you open the door. That would be my ideal home to sell because it's huge, but it's just, I don't know, it's beautiful. It's kind of majestic. So yes, I would love to like throw an open house / party. That would be mine. Now, as far as the old school home, I'll be honest with you. If we're thinking about something way back in the day, I think the Cosby's house would be, something from back in the day that I would love to sell just because it represented that family aspect. And we know that family is very important. And they did a lot of things there. He was able to work from home downstairs, his office. Like, I love that part, when he would come up for lunch and eat a sandwich at the table. And I love how they had that little back stairwell that led to the kitchen. That would probably be my other one. Yes, it would be.
Yeah.
So before you even bring someone to a home, do you go to it first and walk around and look at all the little bells and whistles that they have?
Oh,
Or
absolutely. Absolutely. Even now with me, I actually have a contract on a home, believe it or not, thank God. That's going to be closing hopefully by the end of the month. But I typically, my thing is I want to go out and get a feel for it. I want to see it. If we're listing for you, we want to know what's your reason for selling. What are you trying to accomplish? What are you hoping that you can net from this listing? What are your goals? It may be that you're trying to sell this one because you got to buy this one, or maybe that you're getting older and you want to downsize from this to that. So we're asking those questions. But if someone's buying, same thing. Before I even take you there, I want to go, or I want to research and know about the house. When was it built? What are its challenges? Is it as is? Is it missing something? Are these things coming with it? So yes, I do like to go. Even like tomorrow, I'm going to go back to one of the homes we actually have a contract on, but I want to go to that house again just to kind of look and get a feel for it. Because again, sometimes when you're walking in a house and it's empty, you can't see the vision. You like, I don't know, it looks small, da da da. But when you can see a space with a bed in it, or a spec house that has these details, it helps you to kind of visualize, okay, my things can fit in this space and we can grow in this space. So
Yeah.
yes, I do like to go out and look. I love looking at houses. I do.
awesome.
I do.
My neighbor who lives next door, she bought her house. She said she swears her house, you know, it had personality. She said that she felt like the house was sucking in his stomach and, just being,
Right.
just had it all together.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, but then, of course, when you move in, there are certain things that,
Yeah.
happen or whatever. But she said that she felt like the house was stuck in it or something, like on its best behavior. Like, pick me,
Absolutely. And when that happens, you definitely I tell everyone, just like I told you guys in the seminar, you want to get an inspection. You definitely want to get an inspection, especially for something that's older, because you have things like the floors, the walls, the roof, the roof. Somebody say, hey, my roof is new. Well, a roof can last 20 plus years, but there may have been some challenges, could have been some hail damage. So it could be certain things. If you get an inspection before you go into a home, you kind of know what's what. But I tell people too, be realistic. Nothing is going to be perfect unless you had it built from the ground up. And even when you have had a home built from the ground up, it can still have issues. It can still have little quirks. The tile can start to crumble after a year, or somebody forgot to put the heating things under the tile, or somebody forgot to put this on the back of the door. Those things can still happen. But I think you have to be realistic in that and be prepared for that. So we encourage you to get home warranties as well, so that you know that, hey, if my air goes out and I've been here 2 years, I got a warranty. Let me call somebody. Hey, let me get them on the phone and get them out here. So definitely have an inspection, and we encourage people to get a home warranty as well. Yes.
So how can people, Sherelle, get in touch with you if they're interested in purchasing a home?
Absolutely. I tell people, give me a call. My business cell is 706-388-9963. I'm an EXP Realty agent. And so I'm also with the Northwest Georgia Realty.co company, which is a group of other ladies and myself here in Northwest Georgia. And you can go to my site, Sharinda Mcknight at Sharinda Mcknight.exprealty.com. So I'm somebody knows how to get in contact with me. I've put signs out, and honestly, just from this property that I've got listed now, I've gotten probably about 10 phone calls, and so I've started to build some relationships. So yeah, give me a call. And if I don't know, guys, I'm definitely going to ask. I don't mind researching, looking. I'm just really excited that when people start the journey, I want to be there to nurture them, to answer questions, to hold their hand, just to check up on them. I have a lady now that started the process. Everything was put on hold about 2 weeks ago because her husband had an unexpected surgery. And I called her like, hey, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. I said, okay, well, I'm gonna keep texting you. If I get on your nerves, let me know. I genuinely want to make sure that people are okay. I do.
That's good. Well, we just want to say thank you so much,
Thank you for
Sherelle, for
having me.
coming on and sharing with us your amazing journey on being a real estate agent, and all these amazing jobs that you have. I mean, if you need your face done, please call. If you need a house, give her a call.
Yes. If you need a rental, give me a call.
Give her a call. Please, people, because she has what you need.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you guys having me. I really do.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We
Thank
really
you.
do. Thank y'all, and y'all have an amazing Thanksgiving. Gobble gobble.
Happy Turkey Day.
Yes.
See y'all
Thank
next
you.
in 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yes.
Y'all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.